Hello, this is AJ. I'm here making another video, and this is going to be kind of difficult, but I'm going to defend Jeepers Creepers Reborn. I'm going to do it. But I think there's a case to be made for this movie. So we're going to do it, and some of these things that I might say might sound like I hate the movie because I'm, like, making fun of it so much, but you just have to understand how ridiculous this is, and how ridiculous it is really is kind of what I'm hinging my whole case on. So we'll go, and just keep in mind that you probably should. I mean, definitely don't be assholes to the people that made it. They made Jeepers Creepers Reborn. They probably know what they are, but they don't. I mean, we can criticize the art. We don't have to actually be mean to people in real life. That's kind of fucked up. So take everything I say with a grain of salt. It's just my opinion. I am not. I'm not a film critic. I'm not even really a YouTuber. I kind of only made a few videos, and this is one of them. So let's jump into it. Put on my lawyer jacket here. So, in order to really understand this movie, we have to spoil it. But I'm not gonna say this. Even if you do get it spoiled, you might even hear some of the shit I say and say, "There's no way that was what happened in Jeepers Creepers Reborn." It happened. And I want you to go see it for yourself. I know I'm going to rewatch it, and that's why I'm defending it. We start off with a shot-for-shot recreation of the first movie. This is the first scene in the movie. It's an old couple driving along, exactly the same as what happened with Justin Long and his sister in the first movie. There's a fucking car that's coming up behind them, and it's obviously not the creeper though, because we can see into it, and it's just a guy. So, I mean, obviously, we kind of already know that something's not right. This is like a movie, or this is something. But it goes on for some time. It goes on for, I didn't check my watch or anything, but it felt like 10 minutes, which was definitely way too long. So that's how we're starting this movie off the bat. They're just kind of doing a recreation. Nothing spectacular happens. It's just, that first scene where he kind of chases him a little bit, and they see him dump a body. So yeah, that happens, and then we pull out, and that's like Mysteries of the South. It's like some kind of show that our main character is watching. I don't remember any of these people's names. I don't even remember the director's name. I think that he's not the pedophile, but I hope he's not. But I don't know. It could be. Yeah. So that happens, and then we learn that our two main characters, they are boyfriend and girlfriend, and they are going to this town that the events of Jeepers Creepers happened in, Jackson Parish or some shit, Jackson Ship, something like that, in the South. And they are going there for a little vacation. We learn pretty quickly that the guy, they both have secrets, right? We learn pretty quickly they both have secrets. The girl pulls over at one point and is like puking. She's pregnant, but she hasn't told the guy. The guy is fucking clueless. He is one of the dumbest people I've ever seen in a whole movie. He's so clueless. We learned that he is taking his girlfriend here on this vacation to propose to her, and she fucking hates everything that he's into. And this is very much a him trip. He's taking her to like a Halloween fest, and she can't stand Halloween. She fucking hates it. She doesn't like anything about it. But this is like the trip that he picked to pop the question. And I was waiting for like a scene of her kind of being like, you always do what you want to do, and you never take the time to ask me what I want to do. But that never happens. It kind of is just like, that's just him. It's not. There's no really lesson to be learned from what he's doing. He's just kind of a fucking idiot. So they go, and they're going, and they're driving down the road to their hotel. Meanwhile, we cut over to an abandoned garage, and the creeper's just kind of crawling out. It just happens like that. He's just kind of crawling out of a garage, like all fucked up and all skinny, because he's been sleeping for 23 years. But this is confusing, right? This is the first really confusing kind of like franchise thing, because while he was watching the little phone video, he's saying something like, yeah, this is about Jeepers Creepers. Like, he's real famous. They made 3 movies about him. So in this universe, the Jeepers Creepers movies are movies. And this movie, Jeepers Creepers Reborn, is supposed to be like real life, like in this movie. Which is just, it opens up so many things that are so confusing. But one of them, the biggest one probably, being we don't know, I guess it doesn't connect to the second one, because at the end of the, for everyone who knows, at the end of the second one, the guy hunting him the whole time kills him, and he has him strung up. And we have a scene where he's sitting there just kind of like waiting for Jeepers Creepers to wake up-ish, because he's like charging tourists to come look at it, and they're like, whoa, this is crazy. Like, when did you kill him? And he's like, 23 years ago. And so it's assumed that this maybe was that he was in a barn for sure, but he crawls out of some kind of garage. So I guess we're just assuming that was the same garage, and it's just been abandoned. I guess it had been 23 or so in those few months in the second movie to where we are at in the fourth movie. The farm, they all died, and the farm just completely, it looks like it's been abandoned for fucking 10 years. Like, it's completely, everything is just completely rotten and trashed. So that's very confusing, and it doesn't match up with the second one. The only theory I can have is what we'll get into very soon is there's this whole cult of Jeepers Creepers thing going on. They decide to do the cult of Jeepers Creepers, which is they decide to do the cult of Jeepers Creepers, and so maybe a theory that you can kind of put together in your head. It's never actually shown at all, but a theory you can kind of put together in your head is like, oh, maybe the cult killed these people for killing Jeepers Creepers or keeping them tied up. But if that was the case, you would think that they would have taken Jeepers Creepers' body to some kind of like coffin or like ceremonial place where, because they're like worshiping Jeepers Creepers. They think he's like a god or something. But they don't. I guess they kind of just leave him there. So that's my headcanon. They killed the old man and his son from the end of the second movie and left the farm just abandoned. They kind of just like, Jeepers Creepers is going to do his own thing. I understand that his name is like the Creeper. I'm calling him Jeepers Creepers. You're just going to have to live with it. Yeah, so Jeepers Creepers, he crawls out. He's all fucked up, all skinny, and he's like eating little worms and shit like immediately, which is kind of cool. I didn't hate that part. I was like, yeah, this is like kind of cool that we're seeing like, you know, the Creeper as he wakes up, because we've never seen that before. And that part wasn't the worst. The CGI was not amazing, but it is kind of grotesque, and you're like, ugh, like it looks like you buy his transformation kind of thing going on. That part lends well to like the overall Jeepers Creepers lore. But yeah, so he does that, eats some worms, and that gives him like a little bit of strength. And he's like, oof, oof. And then he gets up, he finds a scarecrow that has like a trench coat, puts that on. And then just at that moment, our main girl is throwing up, and she gets a call from her friend, who's this gay man, I assume. He sounds gay, and I think what I've seen online is everyone's mad because he died like instantly. But this gay guy, he's also pulled over on the side of the road somewhere random in the middle of nowhere where Jeepers Creepers happened to crawl out of. He's basically outside an abandoned farm. And he's talking to her and he says some shit like, okay, I know I called you, but I gotta go piss right now. I gotta go drain my dick, or says something like that. And then just hangs up on her. It's like, why did you call her if you just wanted to? I guess he wanted to see where she was or something. But then he's like, I gotta piss. And then he just frolics into the woods like 5 minutes away from his car to go piss. And of course is just instantly killed by Jeepers Creepers. The kills leave a lot to be desired, honestly. It's definitely not gory enough, aside from one kill in the movie that I will talk about later. But yeah, so his first kill is this just random gay man that's a friend of these two. And so it's not so much looking back on it, it's not so much a couple's trip, because they're inviting a third person. So that would have been weird to watch. They're driving, and they come across this little voodoo shop, creepy shop. And they go in, and this is a big example. I may be defending the movie in general, but I cannot defend the writing. The writing is fucking awful. So bad. Because they kind of just say stuff that you would expect horror movie people to say. So it's literally like they just kind of copy pasted, just kind of threw in, you know, they say this in horror movies. They go into the store, and the guy's kind of looking around, and his girlfriend's like, hey, I don't remember what his name is. John. John, we're not supposed to be in here. Stop. We have to go. It's like, it's a store. It's not somebody's house that you wandered into and you're fucking snooping through their shit. This is a fucking store. It's open. It says open on the sign. It's probably owned by one person. They're now at the desk. Like, doesn't mean you can't be in there. But yeah, they're looking around. They find Jeepers Creepers stuff, like kind of stuff. The boyfriend loves it. The girlfriend fucking hates it. And then she's like, she walks up to the counter, and we find the woman that's there. And she's like, "Can you help me find this address for the hotel? Like, it's not coming up on my phone." And the shop owner's like, "Oh, that's because our town, the satellites, don't really capture our town very well." Something like that. And so you're like, okay. And so she proceeds to unfold this crinkly old fucking antique map that happens to have like a current layout of the city and shit. She's like, yeah, take highway, this, and take a left at the sign, blah, 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 blah. And then they're like, okay. And she hands her the map, and she says, okay. And when she touches her, our main character gets visions of her being in like a sacrificial chamber. She's being sacrificed by a cult, right? And presumably the woman who just touched her can see this as well. It seems like she's magic, because she's also like, ooh, congratulations, like, to her about the baby. And she's like, you're like, shut the fuck up, bitch, shut the fuck up. And you could tell she's like, and she's like, oh, he doesn't know? Oh, how interesting. Like, it's the shittiest thing that you could do to someone. But yeah, so she gives her the map, and then she's like, that'll be $50. And they're like, what, $50? Like, I would have been like, no, we already know where to go. Just take the map back. We know where the highway is. We don't need this fucking crinkly old map. She's like, it's an antique. So the guy just gives her $50, and then they walk out, and that's when she's like, oh, congratulations with your baby, and like, oh, have fun with Jeepers Creepers kind of shit. So they leave that place, but after they leave, this woman picks up a phone, and she's like, we have the fresh meat, we have one with baby, some shit, to other cult people, laying the groundwork for a conspiracy, which you'll see comes together like that. These are not, the conspiracy isn't like around this particular woman and her unborn baby. She just kind of happens to be there. And they're like, oh, cool. Like, let's give that to Jeepers Creepers. Like, it happened that he's waking up today. Let's give it to him. So they get to their hotel in a weird, a kind of creepy scene. The boyfriend's like, oh, here, like, I got you all these cosplay outfits. And she's like, the fuck are you talking about? I hate cosplay. And he's like, oh, yeah, like, it's dumb. Like, I probably shouldn't. You're right. Like, he kind of just, like, gaslights her into, like, dressing up in all these things that she doesn't want to dress up in. So she's like, fine, I'll go. Like, I don't want to make you upset. I'll go put on the fucking thing. The first one's like all of these outfits are super slutty, which is fine, but it's like she obviously didn't want to do it, so it makes it kind of creepy. It's like a slutty Harley Quinn outfit, and then we go through, there's like a Michael Myers, like a Freddy Krueger, or I think there's just basically all the horror movie people. She has like a slutty outfit for, and does kind of like a little fashion show for him, and he's like, eh. She picks one, and then she's like, all right, what are you gonna wear? And he's like, oh, this. And he's just wearing like a t-shirt and jeans, and she's like, what the fuck? And he's like, it's fine, it's my t-shirt. I was just a little weird, because it's like, this franchise is already kind of tarnished with like sexual deviancy, so like, if I was directing one of these, I would probably just steer away from anything sexual, just to be there and not riding the line between what people are already uncomfortable about Jeepers Creepers with. So that's fine. They are in their hotel, and then we cut to the Hellfest. Basically, it's like Hellfest if you've seen Hellfest. It's like there's like fucking, it's like like dubstep. Evil dubstep, basically. I guess that's what Halloween people like. They like evil dubstep. It's like two different Pennywises just dancing to the dubstep, and fucking one of the funniest things, there's a guy in blackface that's the DJ. This man is in full black body, and I think he's supposed to be like dressed like the Creeper, because the Creeper's kind of like has like a dark complexion. He's more like gray than anything. He's kind of like a reptile, but this guy's just kind of black. Which was hilarious, because they keep cutting to him. He has like speaking lines. That was interesting. They're buying their tickets, and they look over and there's like a Westboro Baptist Church kind of group like protesting outside of the Halloween fest, like you're all going to hell, blah blah blah. And they're buying tickets. She's kind of looking at them weird, and then they're like, "It has risen," something like that. And she's like, "I thought the line was he has risen," which then lets us know that this is actually the cult. I think this is like the most we see them out. So the Jeepers Creepers cult is both into sacrificing babies for this demon thing, and also like morality protesting outside of Halloween festivals. And I guess they just kind of go out and do that. They're very not cloak and dagger about that aspect. They're very much like, we worship the creeper, and that's just kind of out there. And I guess no one really gives a fuck. They go in, and yeah, she fucking hates it. The girl hates it. She absolutely can't stand being here. She's like, look at, they're glorifying killers, and everyone is like fucking demented here. And it's like, this guy is the biggest social fuck up of all time. Like, he literally cannot read the room and just see, oh yeah, my girl, this probably isn't the right time to propose to my girlfriend, because the whole time he's like clutching his little ring box, like, should I do it now? Like, it's so weird. So they go around, they find this knife throwing storage container. And it has the things from Jeepers Creepers. It has the bone, the things with the little tooth. I think even one used to have like a belly button or something. The guy has like 3 of them, and he's closed. But then as soon as they walk up, he's like, "Hey, we're open." He's being real creepy to them. And later we really find out this guy's more of like a red herring. He's not really involved at all, but somehow he's like really fascinated with the creeper. And even when shit goes down, it kind of forgets that he was like a creeper, someone knowledgeable about the creeper. He just kind of ends up being someone that doesn't know anything, which is very, very strange. But this scene is mostly to show us that this girl, our main girl, is kind of a badass. She really is good at throwing knives, which is cool. That's probably like one of, out of all the characters, I'd have to say the final girl is probably the best one out of all of them, which I guess is good because the movie pretty much hinges upon her. She's also kind of just rude though. She's kind of, it's like, just dump him. Like, why do you want to be this bitter person? Just fucking dump him and go do something else. Like, she's just kind of like pissy the whole time. Like, ugh. She can throw these star things really fucking well. Which is cool. She hits like bullseyes instantly. Everyone's like, whoa, that was sick. And also one pricks her on the finger. It leaves like a little, her symbol that she has throughout this movie is like a bullseye. It's not subtle at all. Like, even in her vision, she just has a bullseye. It's just a bullseye. So she's the target of the creeper. It's very, very deep. It pricks her on the finger, and she's like, ow, and it's kind of like ominous, and that's, I guess, just really heavy-handed foreshadowing, because the guy didn't set it up to do that. I don't know. It's maybe saying that these stars, or these throwing stars, are mystical or something. I don't know. The knife guy did not do that. He was not a part of that. So they go about their night, kind of like walking around. Meanwhile, Creeper, I think, kills like this one random douche. They go to a raffle, right? And they're at the raffle, and the cult lady, she replaces the ballots with somehow the girl's number. I don't know how. I don't think she was selling the tickets. I'm not really sure how she got the number. I guess everyone's just kind of in on it, but only a few people. It's so confusing. Anyway, she stuffed the ballots. The girl obviously wins the raffle. And what's the prize? The prize is you get to go spend the night in this haunted house tonight, like right now. That's the prize. And also this other random girl who's now the host because the other host was murdered. She is also filming a TV show, so you're also going to be on the TV show in the house with her doing an escape room, right? It's not haunted. It's an escape room, but you're going right now. So we're going to do the escape room right now. You're leaving it doesn't matter. You bought tickets for the festival. We're going to go film that thing right now. So that's just what we're doing now. And so they go and do that. They start going to this house, and I guess this house is supposed to be where the creeper lives. It's a special house. But also the cult had like an animation for it. Like, it's like a huge thing. And then they also have this producer and this woman who the show's about, and they're not in on it at all. So somehow they've managed to arrange all of this. if this couple hadn't have been there, then I don't know. I guess they just would have gotten two other random people to go with this lady to the haunted house. So they do. They go to the haunted house. Meanwhile, the creeper he goes and he takes his big old truck and he just like destroys a transformer near the festival. And what this does is it shuts down the music, but all the lights are still on. Even the speakers are like, woo. And everyone's like, boo, boo. And the blackface DJ guy is like, guys, I'm so sorry. Our Wi-Fi is down. We can't keep playing music. Like, this guy didn't even bother downloading any of the songs he was playing. He's literally just streaming them off of fucking Spotify or something. He's like, guys, we can't. But a good DJ in blackface always brings a vinyl. And he starts playing some kind of vinyl, and it's fine. So yeah, and the creeper never really goes back and kills anybody else at the festival. I don't believe I was expecting more kind of Hellfesty things. Like the creeper is kind of walking amongst people. You don't really see him walking amongst people. You just kind of see that he's, you see his hand grab something, or it's just kind of implied that he's also walking around. But maybe he was. Maybe I just didn't see it. But yeah, he also doesn't kill people stealthily and they die and everyone thinks it's a show. I was expecting more of that kind of stuff. That doesn't happen. He kind of just destroys the Wi-Fi and then leaves. What happens next is they get to this house, and it's right in front of a cemetery. And the cameraman has this shitty little camera that you would not film a TV show at all, and like a little tiny light. And he's trying to get his camera to work, and he's like, if my camera's not working now, and I guess it's presumed that it's something paranormal with the cult, the cameras don't work here for some reason. And the producer guy is like livid. He's like, I didn't pay a fucking camera crew to come down here and film this just for your shit to break. And it's like, you didn't pay a camera crew at all. You paid this one guy who has this shitty camera to come and make your whole show. Like, what did you expect? But anyway, he's pissed. And so the guy's trying to get his camera to work, and then he sees a cult member walking. He doesn't know it's a cult member, but they're walking, and he's like, hey, are you from the festival? And he's like he's following her for some reason. She's like looking back, like kind of like beckoning him. And he, for some reason, keeps following, like with his camera. He's like, ma'am, this is what he says. I swear to God, this is what he says. Ma'am, I need to use your phone, okay? And I'm like, okay, maybe he needs to call someone. I need another battery or something. He says, I need to use your phone so that I could tether my camera to it so that I could get the internet and get my camera back working again. Am I using the internet to tether this camera in order for it to work? Is that how that fucking works? I tether it to the internet to get to work? So yeah, he's like, hey, can you help me tether my camera? And she goes around the corner. He can't see her. Jeepers Creepers picks him up and kills him off screen. So then everyone's kind of like, what's going on? We have like a dramatic moment with our main characters, the boyfriend and the girlfriend, into what becomes one of the funniest things that happens in the whole movie. He is about to go propose to her when fucking the creeper just comes and fucking swoops her up and just flies off into the night. And the guy's like, and then, so that's hilarious. I mean, it got a huge laugh in our theater because it was just like, so like, the timing was just so comedic. But then that leads into another hilarious scene where the rest of the group is like looking for everybody who's missing. They're like looking around. They're like, hey, where'd everyone go? They turn a corner. Everything is dead quiet. But then as soon as they turn the corner, the boyfriend, he comes running through like, and he's just like screaming and fucking just waving his arms. He's like, and everyone's freaking out. And then eventually calms down. He's like, they did something big. So like he wasted his entire energy just, and he's like, they took her. We gotta go to the house. They go to the house. They get in. Cult immediately locks them in the house, and then that's the last we see of the cult. This is like probably halfway through the movie. The cult's like, all right, Jeepers Creepers, we give you this. The rest is up to you. But then what's hilarious is like the next scene, they fucking lock Jeepers Creepers out because the next scene is him trying the doorknob and like not being able to get in and just like pounding on the door like, let me in. And so they're like, fuck, and they run up immediately to the attic for some reason. And then he like uses his wings and he flies through like a nice little open window that has like a couple boards. He just kind of busts through it. And they're like, oh fuck, it's Jeepers Creepers. And what's kind of crazy is the boyfriend, he immediately just starts just slapping and just punching Jeepers Creepers or something. He immediately goes and attacks him, and Jeepers Creepers just kind of just like ugh, and he lives. They pull him away, and they're like no 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 no. But I guess right before that, the driver did shoot Jeepers Creepers in the arm a bunch of times, kind of like fucked up his arm, and so yeah, they all run back downstairs, and that's a lot of this movie, guys. The rest of this movie is them running from room to room from Jeepers Creepers like fucking Scooby Doo, like just back and forth. So make peace with it. But get this. So we've seen in Jeepers Creepers 2, there was the scene where the teenagers stabbed Jeepers Creepers through his head. And what he did was he took off his whole fucking head, and then he ate somebody else, and he decapitated them or whatever, ate their whole head, and then the head comes back up into his head. So we kind of get an idea that like he has to eat the body part before he has to like maybe digest it before it can like be his part. It's really quick, but he has to eat it. He has to consume it. His arm's all fucked up. He's like holding it like this. He's just kind of like He rips off his own arm. He has the guy from the beginning strung up in this house. He rips the guy's arm off, and then he just proceeds to deep throat this guy's arm. He's just like, brr. He's deep throating this man's arm on screen, and it's shocking. It's shocking. And so that's how you know, like, if he needs a new leg, he literally has to unhinge his jaw and just swallow your whole fucking leg so that it can come out, and then you see he swallows it, and then the arm kind of like comes out of his sleeve. So that was fucking awesome. We also find out that he can whistle real loud. That's the thing that they've contributed to the lore, is that he can whistle real loud. That's his new power. He goes, and everyone, they're fucking, it's like blood curdlingly loud. We cut down to below this, right before he actually confronted them. He's in his little underground lair, like what we see in the first movie where Justin Long goes down into. It's like a fucked up little chamber that has like an altar kind of, and the girl is tied up, and he's about to cut out her fucking baby. He starts cutting her stomach a little bit, and then he hears the people upstairs doing shit. I think they shoot off a gun or something, and he flies up there. She, meanwhile, while that's going on, manages to get a little knife and untie herself. She has like a pretty small cut. It's like, I don't know, like this big. It's not super deep. He kind of was just like lightly grazing her in order to cut out the baby and shit. Like didn't do a full thing. He kind of cut her belly a little bit, but she is fucking screaming, like, and just moving around. She is hamming it the hell up. And the whole time I was like, shut the fuck up. He's right up fucking stairs. Like, he's gonna hear you. I swear to God. She's moving. She sees a little vent, and she's like, okay, that's how I'll escape. She starts moving the table like, ah, ah, ah. She's just fucking screaming at the top of her lungs, like, screaming. She's fucking screaming. And I'm like, he's right upstairs. He has like fucking superhuman hearing. Like, what are you doing? But she screams her way across the room until she gets to the side, crawls through the vent. Eventually, which is interesting, they find a room which has a telephone in it. It's like the other end of the room. The producer guy's like, oh, sweet, a telephone. It's an empty, old, shitty room, and the only thing in the room is the telephone and like a towel or something on the ground. He steps right on the towel in the middle of the room, and it's a fucking bear trap under the towel, and it fucks his leg up. And so the boyfriend runs over, and he grabs the phone, and he gets a dial tone, surprisingly, and he calls the cops, and the cops pick up, which was crazy, because this is an old abandoned house. There's service here, this old abandoned house, that the cult set up as an escape room that was really more of like a trap. So I'm not really sure why they left a working landline in the room, because I was expecting the voice to be like, oh, the creeper's gonna get you, it's the cult, but it's literally the cops. The cops come at the end. They call the cops. So, I mean, even if they thought like, oh, the cops are never gonna believe the creeper's here, what if they were just like, yeah, there's a man with a gun here? The cops will still come, hopefully. I mean, not in my area, but they'll still, in the South, they'll probably come. There's a working phone. So they do that. The more creeper hijinks ensue. At one point, they hear something upstairs. So keep in mind, the woman, our main final girl, she was in an underground lair in basically the front yard, a little bit further out. She finds like a vent in like the dirt wall, some kind of vent, that she crawls through, right? So she started underground, underground. Here's the house. This is where the house is. She started here, underground. She went through a vent, and they hear someone walking upstairs. It turns out to be her. She falls through the ceiling. They're on the first floor, presumably. She falls through the ceiling. So she went underground through a tunnel, up the side of the house into the in between the first and second floor, and then fell, surprising them and scaring them. Which, what the fuck kind of vent is that? She basically ninja warriored her way through a vent vertically up the fucking a story of a house and then crawled through. That was fucking weird. So that happens. They're like, oh, thank God, it's her. Jeepers Creepers comes back around. They're trying to fight him. Eventually, in the coolest kill of the movie, he has an axe. They're running away. The TV show girl is running, and he just fucking hits her right in the back of the head with an axe, and she goes down instantly. They're like, no, but they continue. They leave. And then later, a little bit later on, he's dragging her body through the house, and then he takes her to a room and then pulls the back of her fucking head open completely, like kind of scalping her, but more than anything, just ripping her whole fucking skull open. And it's all practical, which is like pretty sick. And he takes out her little she has like a little brain like this big, takes out her fucking brain and just starts eating it, which I guess that was just kind of for fun, because it never is like, oh, now he knows stuff that she knows or something like that. It was kind of just, she kind of does it. But there's a hilarious shot where he's eating it, and I guess the brain itself is not edible, because the actor playing the creeper, he's kind of just like this is the brain. He's just kind of like he's like inches away from it. Like, I guess they just thought that it would be the right angle, but there's a shot of him just he's not even touching it at all. Creeper, I don't even know if I touched on this. Creeper does not look good. He's scrawny as fuck, which is fine, because he just woke up, so he needs to build more fat. But it's just his whole frame is like not super big. He looks like shit, and I've seen a lot of people criticize that. He does look shit. Yeah, he looks weird. He has like those kind of dragony little, it's like almost like teeth kind of shit that comes out. It's like a dinosaur. I don't know. He looks weird. So yeah, he kills the TV show girl, and then they're like, you know what? Let's concoct a plan. We're gonna concoct a fucking plan, and we're gonna go do this shit. We're gonna kill him because he's gonna catch us if we run out. We can't get, whatever. So they come up with a plan like that, like instantly. They come up with a plan, and the plan is the driver, the redneck driver guy, and the TV producer, they're gonna go upstairs to, I guess, presumably lure him back. But Jeepers Creepers just kind of hanging out playing like records and shit. So they go upstairs, and this one is actually a cool shot too. The camera's looking at us. They're coming in the door, and then we see kind of like what almost looks like it could be like a curtain or something behind them. It doesn't. It just like you see some fabric, and then you're kind of thinking like, oh god, like is that his coat? And it is. They pan out, and then he's just there the whole time. And he just jumps down and is like, what's up? And they are kind of like fighting him, hitting him with stuff, and he just instantly starts fucking up these dudes. Rightly so. He's just fucking slamming the redneck guy around, bitch slapping him, and the TV producer doesn't even stand a chance. He's like about to fight, and the creeper just has like a log, or I think he uses his own weapon and just fucking bam, just impales him against the fucking wall. He's dead instantly. The other guy manages to go away. I think he actually knocks it over. This is funny. He knocks over his fucking record player and breaks his vinyl, and his only copy, presumably, of this like Jeepers Creepers, where'd you get them peepers? And fucking Jeepers Creepers is pissed. He looks at his broken record. He's like, ah, and he's so angry. So the guy runs down. This is also a very stupid shot. We see him running down the stairs. The boyfriend is hidden in plain view. If you're coming from upstairs, you can clearly see he's not hidden. He's just next to the stairs. So you see him. The redneck guy runs down the stairs. We cut to a shot, and then he just stands right next to the boyfriend. And he's like, all right, we're good, we're ready. Like, if Jeepers Creepers is coming down the stairs, he clearly sees both of you. But somehow he doesn't. He walks down the stairs, and the plan works perfectly. He goes, and the girl is waiting, by the front door. And she's like, come get me. Come on, I'm ready. And Creeper kind of like slowly like meanders over to her. Meanwhile, the two guys go up to the roof. Somehow, I guess when they showed up, they saw that there's like a big spike thing that's up at the top of the roof. So that's part of their plan. They're going to go get it and throw it at him when he gets to the right spot. And so yeah, she's leading him to the right spot, and then eventually he picks her up and he just fucking grabs her by the throat. And I'm like, was that part of the plan? Because he could instantly just kill you. Like, that doesn't seem like a good plan. He's holding her. It's very, he's taking like a big pregnant dramatic pause. He's like about to fucking cut her baby out. She's like, you know, whatever. And then at the last second, she does a die hard. She pulls two of the fucking his own little stars out. She's like, not today, and like stabs him in the side of the head. And he's like, ah, you know, drops her. And then she backs up and she's like, ready, motherfucker, and just like, boom, bullseye in one eye. Boom, bullseye in the other eye. Both eyes are now out of his fucking head. Like, he rips them out and he's like, ah, my eyes. He doesn't talk, but he's like, ah, he's very much in pain. She's like, how you like it? She says this, ready? How you like them peepers, bitch? Like, you could tell, like, they wrote that and they were like, oof, manon, that's gonna be so good. She says that. He's just blindly like, bah, bah, like, you know, flailing around trying to get her. They manage to finally pick up the thing, throw it, goes right through Jeepers Creepers' fucking mouth, like impales him on the ground. He dies, presumably, right? But then, here's the kicker, and they're all celebrating. We've seen throughout the Jeepers Creepers movies that crows have some kind of role. They're like his eyes, maybe. We always see them. They're always around when he's around, right? Suddenly, a swarm of fucking crows just descends upon this house. And everyone, and they're like, oh, they're getting attacked by fucking a shitload of crows. And the redneck guy is getting attacked, and he's like, no. And they knock him off the roof, and he just kind of falls to his death unceremoniously. He just kind of bloop. So yeah, they're all getting attacked. It's like the birds. They're all fucking getting swarmed. And then the boyfriend up on the roof is like, oh yeah, let me go where the fucking birds aren't. And he just goes back inside, and he's fine. And then he goes over to the girl, and he's like, hey, come back inside. And then she's like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll go back inside. And then so she goes over there too. But, guys, this is what my whole case hinges upon. I forgot that I was a lawyer, and this is my client. This is the whole case hinges upon. The birds swarm Jeepers Creepers as he's impaled on this pole, and they swarm him, and they're just kind of like, you can't really see anything. They're just like all over him, and then they fly away, and he's fucking gone, guys. He's fucking gone. The birds, and then he's gone. Just then, the cops show up. The cops are all there, and it's just the boyfriend and the girl. They're obviously very injured. They're walking towards the cops, and the sun's coming up. And the cops are all like, drop it! They're all, they don't have any weapons or anything. They're just kind of like in that mode, drop your stop right there! And then they're kind of like looking at them, and then they look at the house, and they don't actually say anything, but you get this kind of like sense that they're like, wait, it's the 20, hold on, it's been 25, 6, oh, it's Jeepers Creeper, and they all put away their guns. They don't actually, but it's like they're like, oh, that makes sense. And they all put away the guns and they help the couple. In a weird turn of events, once they get in the cop car, we're seeing the final girl about to drive away. Her eyes turn completely black, which leads us to believe that she's possessed now, I guess. I don't know. But that's it, and it kind of goes to black. Before I get to the really kicker of this movie, there's just one other thing that I forgot. At one point, they're in this room, and voodoo dolls are kind of like a running thing in this one. They find voodoo dolls of themselves. But so here's where the continuity gets really fucking confusing. They're saying that the three Jeepers Creepers movies are movies. Those are just Hollywood movies based off of the real legend of the Creeper. But, and they even have newspaper clippings of this old couple that's like supposedly supposed to. This is what I'm thinking. Unless it's just it happens to everyone. That the old couple is what really happened, and they hired Justin Long and this actress to recreate it in Jeepers Creepers 1. That's what I got from that. Because there's newspaper clippings everywhere, and it's exactly the same thing. And the three movies are movies, but in the voodoo doll pile, there's a fucking exact voodoo doll of Justin Long and his T-shirt and everything. Which is also like, when you make a voodoo doll, do you have to make their most worn outfit or something in order for it to work? Like, what? There was so much detail put as the logo and everything was on his shirt. So yeah, that's super confusing. It's like, so either that's just kind of like a cutesy Easter egg, or they're really saying like, no, actually that did happen, and so what happened to Justin Long and his sister also happened exactly the same way to these old people, like beat for beat. And if that's the case, that's fucking weird. That's just confusing. We have arrived at the last shot of the movie, and this is what the entire fucking movie, my whole case hinges upon. We see, it's after her eyes turn black. We see just all the crows. It's just all crow feathers and shit. You can't really tell what's going on. All the crows, and then as they fly away, we see Jeepers Creepers, and he's all fucking red and kind of like a newborn baby, and he's just like, blah! And that's the end of the movie. So what that leads me to believe is these crows, what happened when Jeepers Creepers got pinned down is they went and they pecked his flesh apart and his bones and everything. They just completely ate him. And then they flew over to a second location and they threw him up into a big fucking pile, and he turned into Jeepers Creepers again. And that's why it's called Jeepers Creepers Reborn. Your Honor, there's no way that a sane person would make this movie. This has to be a guilty pleasure kind of movie. You cannot take it seriously. The CGI is so bad. The acting is all really bad. The main character, the main girl, is like really probably the best. I think her name is something Craven. I don't know if she's actually the daughter of Wes Craven. I haven't looked that up. But guys, you cannot hate this movie. This movie was made to be laughed at. This movie, you have to go see this movie for what it is. This is a beautiful fucking peacock at the zoo. You have to go. Don't go fucking throwing rocks at it. Don't harass it. Just go and just watch it be magnificent. It's beautiful how fucking horrible this movie is. And so, while it will get a lot of hate, while it's going to be massacred in critic reviews and probably online, I have to say that if you want a good time, you like good, bad movies, you have to see Jeepers Creepers Reborn. I wish all the luck to the creators and the actors of Jeepers Creepers Reborn. There's not going to be a fucking sequel. If you make a sequel, I will fucking lose it. Just stop right there. You've made a movie. It was in the theaters. Fine. Good for you. You've done it. Now go on to something else. Just do something else. Let someone else try and make a good one. But this one is fucking funny. Guys, please go see it. I rest my case. Thank you.